welcome back to the Buff Bombshell Show. My name is Lauren Lotta. I am your host, and I'm with the amazing Emma Hyndman, the posing pro.
Woo! I'm just going to give myself my own little hype.
I like this one.
How are you, Lauren? How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I am in lockdown with you.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how is lockdown treating you?
Well, lockdown is pretty good.
Yeah.
I am actually on prep.
Ooh, this is exciting.
So I have decided to start prepping for May.
Okay, fantastic. What first show will that be?
So I'm going to go with a slightly new federation, and then I'm going to go with Two Bros Pro, which is an IFBB.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the May show as a bit of a warm-up.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go Two Bros Pro in June. So
how exciting, because you competed at the beginning of last season.
I did. So I only did one show last year, and that was in September.
Mm-hmm.
And after my feedback, you know, obviously you inquire, you want to improve as an athlete, you need your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of thought, I don't see the point in competing for the rest of the season if I'm not going to be able to grow anything. Or, you know, because I had another 2 shows lined up after that. Yeah. And I just thought, I'm not going to be able to pack on any kind of size within 2 weeks.
And I think that's really wise. Like, it's a really wise decision to make. When you get feedback and they tell you need to improve on this, obviously from show to show, the lineup is completely different. So, you know, you may win one show and then you might go to the next one and play second or third. And it's just the way the game goes. But I think to make a decision to go, do you know what? I want to be my best and I want to know that I've got everything that they're looking for, to then take that time out. I think it's a really wise choice to make.
Thank you. So I am looking forward to this year.
Yes.
And then I'll just get my feedback again and improve as always.
How have you found like training, the consistency of your training during lockdown?
Well, I definitely took a long deload for about a month, like after my show, because it was exhausting. My prep had already started in January and I was already going up till September.
Oh wow.
And by that point I was really depleted. So just to give you a sort of insights, my final weight was just under 47 kilograms and I'm 53 kg right now.
Okay.
So I was there.
Yeah.
I was gone.
Dark places.
Yeah. It was like, let us leave time kind of thing. But with all due respect to the coach at the time, he did a fantastic job, and I will take that, because you do what you have to do and you just do it. Yeah. So that was really good. And this year, just something different. So
I have a question.
Go for it.
Who are you working with?
So this year I'm working with Yannick.
Okay, yeah.
From my K Muscle. He's a
Marquise Muscle.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
It's very different. He's a bit more like, I want to say bougie.
If you want a bougie prep coach, then go to Marquise Muscle.
You know what I mean? Like, he's really just, he's like, he'll tell you how it is straight up. He's not going to.
He's very straight talking.
Yeah, very.
But he's known within the UK scene to get good results with his girls. He's actually got quite a few of his girls like obtained pro cards.
Yes.
I know him more so with the figure girls.
Yes.
But no. Oh, okay. Interesting.
But I do find him fun to work with, and I think that's a really important aspect. Like, you have to obviously do the work yourself as the athlete, because the coach is not going to do it for you. No. But you also have to be able to trust your coach properly and just be able to have fun with it. Otherwise, you're not going to have fun.
Yeah. You got to have a good dynamic with your coach for sure.
Absolutely. So.
How exciting. Yeah. Oh, you make me want to compete.
I think you'll compete. Emma is going to compete one day, really.
2021 is it the year?
I can't wait. I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
I just feel like I do really want to compete this year, but because obviously, like, we watch the girls and we really look at how they look and how the physique is. So I feel like we have a really good understanding of what you need to look like. Yeah. And I just don't feel like I want to commit to prep until I feel like I have all of the attributes.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, you've got all those things in place on your body before you like sculpt down again.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few little areas that I want to improve. And I think when I see those there, then I will be like, okay, let's go. Because I know I don't need a long prep. So,
but at
who
least
knows?
The building stage is there, so that's really good.
And I like the building stage, so.
That's good. And obviously you have your own gym, so
I know
that's really good.
You know what? We've had the gym now since September. Obviously, we've done the second lockdown now with the gym. But yeah, I'm just super grateful that I've still got somewhere, my own gym to go and train in, which obviously I'm allowed to do. And I'm just blessed because I feel like it's hard, those home workouts. I know, like that's why I'd never want to take the gym for granted, you know.
Yeah, one booty
Lauren's screwing her face up right now.
You can ask Giles. Yesterday, I was crab walking up and down the house with my booty bands for like 100 times.
100
you know,
reps.
like that is just ridiculous. But you do what you have to do. So.
And I think that's the thing as well in this current time. You literally, you know what? If you really want it, you got to do those 100 reps of crab walks.
Oh, I'm out. I'm out. Oh, yeah, but no.
So it's the gym. Obviously, we're closed at the moment.
Yeah.
But you know, we've got some really great members. They're really loyal and supportive, which I'm truly blessed for. And if anything, this time has really shown me the community side of the gym. Like I really feel like even though you know, when we're not open, we have like a chat group, and everyone kind of stays in touch and keeps the morale going, which is really sweet. So yeah. But apart from that, I'm just in that studio doing all of my Skype calls at the moment. I am running the online posing coaching program.
See, now that's really cool.
Which, do you know, everyone that's on the course right now, they're so relieved and blessed. They're like, yes, we're in lockdown and I'm on the course. I've got something to do.
So is that 4 sessions and they do it weekly? Yeah.
So basically how the online posing coaching program works is that they come on board with me for 4 weeks. They whatever category they're in, they get put into a chat group for that category, and in that chat group there is a tutorial video of their mandatories, their quarter turns, whatever it is. There is mobility videos for the upper and the lower body. There's lat activation videos.
That's good.
And there's also flexibility videos as well. So I basically have just devised a whole program where it covers all aspects of how to perfect your posing, really.
I love it.
So we do 2 one-on-one Skype sessions in the month, and then we do 2 video check-ins. So both options, not options, but both opportunities to work with me are great because you get the video feedback, because people respond differently to different ways of learning and looking and seeing and understanding. Okay, that's the next frame. Because sometimes I literally draw an X frame on their pictures so they can fully understand. Exactly. So visual learners. Yeah. And then I've got other people that work better when they're like doers. So they learn better through the Skype session. So it covers both bases. So it's it. So the January course is going strong. There's not going to be a February course at the moment. Purely because the online course takes up so much of my time, and but if we're in lockdown, I probably will run one in February. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, at this rate, I think we're going to be in lockdown.
Yeah, I think so too. Probably till 2022.
Yeah. God. So we're prepping for a whole year, and you'll be doing posing. You might for a whole year. That's okay. We will do it. We'll get through it. Yeah.
We'll get through this. That's for sure.
Okay, you guys. I hope you enjoy this episode. We are going to be talking to some coaches from now on. And I think, Emma, this was your pick. So who are we speaking to this week?
So we've got on the show today Adam Bonilla, who is obviously Team Elite Physique. We thought we need to start interviewing and chatting to some coaches, because that gives you we get the element of the athlete and we see them, but then we also get the coach and we get inside. Let's hope we get some inside scoop. But I followed Adam for a long time.
Yes, and I love the Bikini and the Brain podcast.
Yes,
I
really
always
good.
Listen to that when I'm on my cardio.
Yeah, I've listened to that as well. And I just think Adam's got a really interesting approach to how he gets his girls to where they need to be.
Yes, absolutely.
So
I'm excited to talk to him.
Super excited.
Okay, well, let's do it. I hope you guys enjoy this one and have an amazing week. All right, you guys, welcome back and welcome to Buff Bombshell. My name is Lauren Lotter and I'm with the amazing Emma Hyndman, the posing pro.
Hi, Lauren. How are you?
I'm good, Emma. How are you?
I'm good. We have got such an amazing show planned for you today. We have with us the one and only Adam Bonilla from Team Elite Physique.
Yes.
We are so excited to have you on the show, Adam.
Yes.
Thank you. How are you guys doing today?
We're really great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Where are you in the world right now? Because as far as are you in
Vegas?
Are you in Vegas?
Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas now. So I'm actually only in Las Vegas now for the most part. So.
And tell us why you're in Las Vegas.
So I sold all of my, so I have a prep center, a contest prep center in Denver, Colorado. That's I started in California as a coach and then went to Denver, Colorado about 10 years ago. And then from there, it's been a good 10 years over there. And then now I moved to Las Vegas because we're online, that's what we are. We're like an online prep team. But we do have a contest prep center where people come and visit, and Vegas is a more centralized location where everyone can kind of travel to. It made a lot of sense to do it. And Ashley was out here. She moved out here from California, and then it just kind of got the ball rolling. So, yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't know who you are, give us like a kind of a brief overview. I mean, if they don't know who you are, they must be sleeping under a rock, but...
So I'm just, I'm a prep coach. I run Team Elite Physique. We have some amazing coaches that work on the team with us. We have some decent names on the team too that you guys probably would know.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for almost 20 years now with prep coaching, and 20 years now. And I've kind of found my way into being a specialist in the bikini and men's physique divisions. That's kind of been our teams, especially. We do figure, women's physique, class physique too, but our specialties have been really known for bikini and men's physique. So.
Yes. Sorry. And for those that don't know, Coach Adam actually coaches Ashley Kaltwasser, 3 times Bikini Olympia winner, as well as our very own UK bikini pro, Phoebe Hagan.
It's like we talk about Phoebe a lot on the show because we're like, yeah, she's British and we're proud.
She's really good too, man. She's definitely going to be up there one day soon.
Yeah. So 100% for sure.
Absolutely. So I guess we want to talk about the bikini category because obviously, like you said, you're a specialist in this. And I guess what I want to know is what trends do you sort of see coming for 2021?
Yeah, there's been, bikini's been evolving, and I think people need to know that it's evolving, and it's going to always be evolving. And kind of every year, if you really want to see the trends, you got to look at what happened at the Olympia. That's always kind of the what sets the trend for the following year. And then you got to look at the first national show and how they're picking girls too. Those are the two markers that you really got to see and really analyze for bikini. So if you look back, a few years back, you would look at girls that had, pretty good developed glutes. Their conditioning was pretty decent, and their shoulders are pretty decent. And then that was a few years back. I would say 4 years ago. Balance wasn't as big of a deal back then. It mattered, but it wasn't everything. Then they got a little leaner. They got a little tighter. Balance got a little bit better. I would say they got a little bit, they were, I would say, a little drier, where to the point where, you're getting some of those girls were not completely filled out on stage, but they were doing well with it. And that's what was winning. And now it's switched again, thinking about the last 2 years, 2.5 years, where now the fullness is there. Fullness is definitely a factor now, a huge factor. Balance is really kind of everything, from front to back, from front to back, top to bottom. Balance is huge, and the glutes have gotten a little bit more developed even this year than years prior to. So it's definitely not bikini of 2010, that's for sure. So yeah, it's become quite a pretty muscular division, and I always tell people who want to start bikini, they'll be thinking that they can do it in a 16-week period or so. And I'm like, no, it's not 2010. This is going to take you a while. This is going to take you a while to build like that. It's basically a baby bodybuilder division, with you having to do very specific kind of routines to fit that criteria.
Ooh. Absolutely. And because we talk about balance a lot, can you just really break down the basics of balance and what that really is?
Yeah, so the basic of, I guess if there's a basics of balance, I'd have to kind of think about how to answer that in terms of basic. But what I can say is that posing is a huge part of it. And, you guys being posing experts too, because I think you do a lot of the posing out in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Emma does.
Yeah. So with that being the case, there is a lot of it has to do with the posing too and the perception of balance. So balance isn't just balance in the gym, it's perception of balance in your posing, If you have, let's say, for example, I won't mention any names, there's a girl out here and she poses really, really big up top. She poses like, one of those girls that like opens their lats up real big, which has been a thing for 2 years, really since Issa started doing well, 3 years back is when it kind of started. And then you started seeing a lot of girls do it. You have a lot of girls opening those lats up quite a bit. But if you open up and you just have those really wide, high lats, and then you can look too big up top from your lower body. So in that scenario, you either pose a little smaller or you get your legs a lot bigger. But if you get your legs a lot bigger, you might not fit the division anymore, right? So a lot of it comes down to posing. A lot of it comes down to how you're creating your workouts in the gym. And there's all these little things you do with per person. Like if you looked at mine and Phoebe's journey, our first year we worked together, I pulled her off of her lats completely because she has low lats and her lats were inserting lower on her back. And that's actually making her waist a little bit wider because they were such a low insertion. So we pulled those back. She got a pro win, her first pro win, 6 months after that. And then, but now lats came back, they came back kind of a big thing. So now now we got to open up a little bit more, bring the lats back, until, for example, until 2 years ago, Ashley never even worked back. She never did back. So it's about just staying with the evolution, looking at the physique, saying, okay, how do we create perfect balance? So one thing is for sure, you're going to need good shoulders, you're going to need good glutes, you're going to need a small waist when you're doing bikini. Those are all kind of necessary. So you want to develop your shoulders to the point where it's what I call pretty muscle. So pretty muscle, and people have a hard time understanding this, and this is the only way I can define it. I call it pretty muscle. I kind of define it as like if you see a girl walking across the stage, and this is kind of a crude way of saying it, but it's the only way I can come up with. But if you've ever seen a horse walking and you see all those muscle fibers in the hip of the horse, you see all these like fibers like going like this. When you don't want to see a bikini girl with all that, so pretty muscle would be the opposite of that. You still want the muscle to be there, but you don't want all these like striations and detail and definition and all these little things going on, like when that girl walks across the stage. So you want to develop your shoulders to the point where they're big enough, but they're not crazy striated and detailed and vascular and all this stuff. So we want pretty muscle. So you can push it pretty far as long as you're still having that pretty muscle. And then from there, you want to balance out the rest of your physique. So bikini isn't really the most balanced sport or balanced division, but it's the illusion of balance is there. Wow. That's a lot of people don't understand. So in order to have, for example, a perfect example would be like shoulders. In order to have shoulders that pop and give you a little bit of shoulder cap, you really don't want arms just as big as your shoulder, so you'll have slightly more developed shoulder than your arm, because otherwise you would have one big thick piece of meat going all the way down, right? But if you look really closely at the development on bikini girls, like the top ones, they'll have slightly more developed shoulders than their arms. And that gives the illusion of having a bigger shoulder without having to have a figure shoulder, right? So there's all these micro percentages, maybe 80% developed on the arm versus the 100% on the shoulder versus not 100% developed on the lats to get the waistline to be 100% to be where it needs to be. There's all these give and takes in bikini that people kind of don't understand. Sometimes you don't train quads on bikini girls ever, it's it just depends on the girl. And, but you overdevelop the hamstrings quite a bit, and you still have the illusion of balance because you're trying to create and that's why I really like the bikini division, because at heart, I'm an artist and I love art, and so with bikini, it's you can really sculpt a girl to your vision, and hopefully it's right. I mean, at this point, I feel like I'm right most of the time, not all the time. I definitely made mistakes, but and that's why when you see I'll see a lot of girls just starting in bikini, and you see them just developing their physique the wrong way. Like they're getting too big, too powerful, too dense, too much separation. And when you try to reverse that, it's really difficult. So I don't know. I love bikini. It's very challenging. I would say it's challenging because it's different for every girl. Everything has its own challenges. Bodybuilding is challenging because it's really hard to get that big and that lean. But in terms of how to deliver that product to the stage, it's very easy. Bring them in big, bring them in threaded as you can, bring them in symmetrical as you can. That guy will win the show, you know? He doesn't need to be pretty, he doesn't need to have good makeup. Just that's it. It's like, okay, right color suit, right hair, right makeup, right jewelry, like
all counts.
Overdeveloped here, underdeveloped here. So it's a constant evolution of finding your perfect visual balance, not necessarily an attempt to be the most balanced you can be by way of workout too. So it's a tricky thing because no one's ever perfectly balanced if you see them like not, you know. So
and I really like how you describe it like a fine art.
Yes.
Because it is really you're fine tuning all the different parts of an individual athlete to really bring that balance and hit that criteria.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
It's also the combination of the science. Like I think we watch a lot of your videos when it comes to obviously like how you've like managed to work the ratios in per client, and you've got your 3D scans, and I think the science combined with the bodybuilding, that is genius.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
You know, I love it. Yeah.
Like, if get a contest prep center over here, please.
No, we're like, sign us up, please.
Tell us. So this is funny. This is how this all started, and I kind of tell the story a little bit. But how it started was I was always into bodybuilding since I was 13 years old. I started working in nutrition stores when I was like 15 or 16 years old, and I was like, I wanted to be like the next like Ronnie Coleman, but I just never genetically was like that big. You know, I was never like just able to put on that much muscle. I did okay. I did pretty decent as a competitor, but I knew that the only way I can beat guys with superior genetics was if I was more educated and knew the tricks, you know? So all I did was read and research since I was like 16 years old. And I worked in the nutrition stores. And so I would get bodybuilders coming to me and asking me questions all the time. And it kind of made me cool, you know, to be talking to bodybuilders. And so I just kept trying to learn and get better just for my own selfish reasons to be a better bodybuilder, because I feel like that would give me the edge. And so as I started growing in the industry, you know, I bought the prep center to have like, and got all these tools to try to do the same thing, to try to keep the edge and push the envelope a little bit more. And so the whole like ratio thing and 3D scanner, I'm trying to find the, you know, Formula X, if you want to call it, which is like the perfect ratio and balance of all these combined bikini athletes. And I've gotten actually a lot of data from it, to be honest. That's cool. And I know like what most of the girls have in their quad measurement, and most of the girls have in their waist measurement and shoulder width and all that when you're talking about like the top girls. So when the top like bikini girls come in, they want to go through that stuff. Even if they're not my girl, they'll go through and they'll do a 3D scan. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go for it. And it's for them. They get to see their scan. And for me, I'm stealing data. That's the cost of entry, is your data.
That's brilliant.
It's so interesting because I've watched on your YouTube series, you know, about, I think it was actually Phoebe and what was the other girl called?
Is it Ashley or?
No, the UK girl that came over with Phoebe to the test center.
Oh, Jade Jocelyn. Was it
Jade or
Jade.
Sarah, maybe?
Yeah, it was Jade. And I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, wow, I can stand in a 3D scanner and you can tell me, okay, you need to put muscle on here, here, and here to get the perfect bikini body. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like
so impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely like it makes it easier. You know, it plugs holes for you because it's such a like you almost need sometimes just that confirmation that you're right. You know, but I've done it so long I can see it pretty easily too. But it's definitely fun to have all these tools. You know, it's fun to have, like, we're getting even more stuff too at the new prep center. The new prep center is crazy looking.
We need to go so far.
We need to go to
Brazil.
Vegas.
We need to go to Vegas.
It's on the list.
The new one will be done in about 3 weeks. But the posing room is awesome. Like it's next level.
You can have our data.
Yeah, no, I would love it if you guys came out. I would really love it if you guys came out.
That would be so cool.
Oh my goodness.
Tell us a little bit about, obviously the Olympia's just been, you had Ashley in there, was one of your top girls. Tell us how you feel that went and kind of what's the plan moving forward?
Yeah, you know, when it came to like picking an order of things, I would say that the only like big surprise in that order was Issa going to 6th.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything was pretty expected, I would say, in terms of like who I thought was going to do what. You know, I would say there wasn't too many surprises there. Issa was a definite surprise. I've never seen that happen before, you know, but that's bikini too. People don't understand, hey, that's the volatility of bikini. You could be the best one day and 6th the next. Like it's bikini, you know, and that's the hard part about bikini too, is one of the things you run into with bikini, I'll say too, is like you'll get a lot of girls who've always been kind of successful in life, you know, with what they did. Like they have a sports background and they played volleyball and they did good at that or whatever they did. And then all of a sudden you're in this individual sport and then, you know, you've always done really good your whole life at everything. And then one day you're told, you know, no, you're on a body competition. And you're like, no to your body. Right. And then it's like crushing to a lot of people. And so you do have to have a tough chin in bikini because you don't really know like how you're going to do from day to day. You know, it's very volatile. It's a volatile division. So, but anyway, that being said, as far as how it went, you know, I'm a fan and a friend of Janet. And so I was really, really happy to see Janet win. You know, obviously I want to win first, but
naturally,
you know, but like, but like if I were to go to like deserving people and good people who like are, you know, I'm on the circuit, I see them, I talk to them all the time and stuff too, like who I think deserved it. I think she would definitely be my number one there. Like just because she's put in the time, she's been the most second place Bikini Olympia, you know, I guess Bikini Olympia runner up, I think, I want to say 4 times. Like she's definitely deserved it. And so I think that's cool to see. I was actually really happy for her. Went over and gave Kim a high five. Like it was just, I was really happy for her. And then, yeah, as far as everything else goes, it just showed the evolution of things. You know, it showed that what, you know, me and Ashley need to do for next year too, which this year, the Olympia showing wasn't her best showing of the year too. I would say out of the whole year, that was probably her worst like showing in terms of her physique. I think we just flew in too soon or too late. We flew in like Thursday and it was on Saturday. I think she was still holding a little water. You know, she was posing a little bit softer than she should in her back pose compared to everyone else. But that's the thing. We've been told to pose that way. We were told to pose softer, but then in the Olympia came, everyone was posing hard and we're like, oh man, like we didn't get the memo. So and that's just how bikini is. It changes like that all the time, like the presentation. You know, I remember one day we were at a show and then everyone was doing, you know, the older style posing. And then all of a sudden everyone's sideways, you know, I was at nationals when it transpired, and things just change like that all the time. Same thing happened with men's physique. All of a sudden one day everyone was like this, you know? So like you just have to be staying on top of it, going to pro shows, what's going on. But you'll get some surprises too. That one was a little bit of a surprise how hard everyone was pushing. And how developed their glutes were. The glutes were crazy this year.
Yeah, they were like
so crazy.
We keep talking about the glutes all the time. We can't believe like
we're literally like, we're not even going to think about competing in bikini until we have those big round high glutes. It's just pointless.
This is why we need the scan.
We
need to know how much we need to add on.
The glutes.
The glutes are getting crazy, man. I thought, you know, I thought at one point that, you know, that was going to be the end of, like, because there has to be a certain point of bikini where that's kind of the max, right?
Yeah,
or
they got to pull it back at some stage.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, that's it. You know, I think we're here because it's pretty far. It's pretty far advanced. And then the glutes grew another inch or two.
Yeah.
And then so when the glutes grow that much, and then they say you still got to be balanced, well, that means everything's got to be bigger.
Everything's got to be bigger. Yeah. So it's true in what you say. Like the bikini girls, they're like little mini bodybuilders to a certain aspect.
Yeah, people don't understand it too, because I grew up in, you know, Southern California, a hardcore bodybuilding background, and like it's funny because all of them now are like, dude, you just train bikini girls, like they think like, I'm like, you guys don't understand, like you guys think that they just like, I don't know, eat tacos and go to the gym for cardio. I don't understand what you guys are thinking that they do. Like, I think the hardest division mentally is bikini division. There's no doubt about it. And it's because of the mental aspect of it. The weightlifting part, they're all hard based on, I think, the same level of difficulty based on your ability to lift weight, you know. But when you go, and I tell these bodybuilders, I'm like, look, you get to train everything, you know, once, twice a week, you know, either higher volume once a week or, you know, lower volume twice a week. But the bikini girls, they train the same thing all the time. It sucks to go to the gym and train your glutes 3 times a week, train your shoulders 3 times a week, like things like that, you know. And they go through periods where they're doing that. And I'm like, you get to do your arms one day, you get to do your shoulders one day, your chest one day. It's different every time you go to the gym. Mentally, it sucks doing another glute bridge on Monday, on Wednesday, on Friday for 3 years straight. Like, it sucks, you know? So, and then when it comes to competition, you're feeling your best and you might not get rewarded for it because your best was too much. So it's definitely a mentally tough game. Bikini is tough. Yeah. For sure. But yeah.
Wow.
I have a question. When you are prepping someone of a pro level, how do you maintain that level of muscle fullness, as you were talking about, you know, like a fullness in the shoulder, fullness in the glute, but then you've still got to have that condition through the back and through that front pose as well, so they've got the teeny tiny waist and the hamstring to glute tie in. How do you bring that look to the stage? Do you have a go-to approach, or is it like different for everyone?
Yeah, I would say it's vastly different for everyone. But when you have someone like, let's say, for example, if you have, for example, let's say like a Frida Paulsen, you know, she's so muscular that her being full on stage isn't really that big of a concern. You know, so more about her, it's going to be just bring her in till you hit your conditioning, and then, you know, give her enough carbs so she looks kind of full, but you don't even want to fill out a girl like her all the way. You know, if you look at like Ashley, she would be a good example too of someone you don't want 100% full, because when she fills out, her legs will take it first, right? And her legs will look thicker. Okay. So like, you got to look at the person too. Now, if you look at Phoebe, you know, she eats a ton of carbs going into a show, and even she's probably like, I would say like 85% full, like not 100% full, because she'll soften up a little bit too much if we try to push it with the conditioning. And so with the fullness. So, you know, it's different per girl, but like Phoebe will get a lot of carbs going into a show. Ashley will get like hardly any. And then so it's just dependent per girl, but going into the show, like all the way through the prep, I'm not really worried about how full they are. A lot of people worry about like, they're like, hey, I'm flat. I'm like, so what? You have 4 weeks to go. What are you telling me? I know you're flat. Like, you're not giving me any information that I can't see for myself. Like, so that's kind of, I think, a thing that people really need to understand. Like, you're not going to be full, you know, 6 weeks out from your show. It's just, you're not, unless you're like way ahead, way ahead of your prep. But so I kind of use like ratios, and I use past data to kind of calculate time away from the show, and also how we need to approach it. So it's a very systematic approach. So for example, this is why I like to keep people lean in the off season too. So and I'm really big on that. You probably have heard that. But the reason is a couple things. One, let's say someone's waist was 22 inches on stage on Showtime, and we have 12 weeks to get ready for a show, and their waistline is now 25 inches. Well, that's simple math. They need to lose 3 inches to hit their stage conditioning of last time, which means they need to lose 1/4 of an inch every week. So the target is 1/4 of an inch a week. Okay. So if we hit that 1/4 of an inch 1 week, well, then we're pretty good. We don't really need to make any big adjustments. If we don't hit that 1/4 of an inch, well, we need to catch up, right? And so it's constantly this like micro progression system. Every week we're changing things to hit that weekly target, to be able to hit the end target. Now, if, for example, someone loses 1/2 inch and does it over a 2-week period where we just gain 2 weeks in the prep, I can give that girl a refeed, right? Spike the metabolism, get her filled out, and then she could be a little fuller going into the show. Maybe that week we can increase load a little bit and do some heavier sets or whatever, and push it a little bit because she has recovery ability that day too. So that's kind of how, if you were to like systematically look at things, it would be that way. It's methodical. Now, on the other end of things, you know, if someone is, you know, constantly losing a lot, like to more than the weekly goal, well, they're going to get fed a lot more, do a lot less cardio going into their prep. And so they're going to be fuller that way too. So there's a lot of like, it's all based on data collection. So I use a ton of, I try to like, it's kind of, and I tell people this, and it's kind of like, it sounds very calloused and rough, but I say, I try to take the human equation kind of out of it to some capacity and just say, okay, what does the data say? You know, and if everyone's kind of like everyone on, to me, when I'm seeing them is like, as the art form is just kind of like a software program that you're plugging in, coding in information, right? So it's like your cardio plus your cardio plus your nutrition plus your workouts plus your supplements equal X, right? Yeah. So if you don't follow that formula, then how do I have the data to manipulate X result, right? So that's the thing. You got to follow it. That's the hard part, right? You got to follow it. And so once I get that, if I'm hitting that weekly target, well, then I know which 4 things I don't need to change. If I don't hit it, then I know one of the things I need to change, and I'll use some type of system based on previous data to adjust it. So it's that's like taking the human equation out of it, right? So, and then there's the human equation part of it when and honestly, like the human equation part of it is kind of hard, right? It's like, well, you're choosing to eat less and get up on stage. Like, so either, yeah.
You've got a real men mentality to it, a man mentality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not, that's the thing is people like, there's a lot of, and I'm big on it too. I'm like, I want to give someone the highest amount of calories and the lowest amount of cardio that they can to be stage ready. And I'm going to give them every opportunity they can to do that. The problem is not everyone can do that. A lot of people can eat a decent amount and do a decent amount of cardio and be very realistic. And I would say a good percentage of my people do. The problem is not everyone can, right? And then the problem is that you'll hear like these like nutrition scientists, which, you know, I would say I'm a baby nutrition scientist where I'm very studied, but I'm also very realistic. And you'll hear them say, no, it has to be this way. It can only be this way. Like only thing that matters is your macros. Only thing that matters is your whatever, right? And I'm like, well, why don't you have any pro wins after 20 years of doing this then? Like, what's the reason for that again? You know, so that the reality is that this is hard and you're not supposed to look this way. You're not supposed to be really muscular and you're not supposed to be really lean. You're definitely not supposed to be really lean and really muscular at the same time. That's for damn sure. Yeah. So it's completely counterintuitive to what the body wants to do, which is be completely inefficient with how much muscle they have because it burns too many calories, and be completely inefficient at sustaining life because you have no energy reserves. Yeah. The fat's all gone, right? It's the most sensitive you are to dying you could basically be without any critical illness, right? It's like you have no energy reserves, your body's using a ton of energy, and you're forcing yourself to use more energy, and you're not eating anything, right? And then you try to look like you're pretty just walking around. That's how you always look, right? So it's like, and then you're like, oh, and I want to be comfortable while doing this. Like, do you hear what I just said? Like, it's a sport. Yeah, and there's no sport in the world that's comfortable at the top level. Yeah. You know, I played hockey at a very high level for like our junior Olympic team, and with like comfort. If you're not dying every practice, you're not even like, you better be injured by the end of the year. You better try it so hard, you know, like it's not, and everyone, I think they look at this and they're like, oh, it's just health and fitness at a higher level. I'm like, no, this is not health and fitness. This is physique competition. Yeah. Health and fitness is what you did to start this. Now you went to the next level. So you got to be a little bit more realistic with your expectations when it comes to like the lifestyle approach of this, you know? And if you want to get somewhere, you know, now if you just want to have fun and get up on stage and you want that more, you know, lifestyle approach, go for it. I say, go have fun with it. I think everyone should do it. And yes, a lot of my people still do get that, but they've either earned it through years of doing this and building their metabolism up, or they were genetically blessed, or they just suffer to some capacity, right? So there you go.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
I really enjoy how you put that into a mathematical formula and like you assess variables. I can get on board with that. Like from
you're an accountant.
From like a numbers background, I can totally get on board with that. I just sort of have one question that is maybe not related to bikini. It's just one more. But I just want to say, like, obviously we've been listening to you a while. You've gone from property, poker, you know, PT, you're a philanthropist kind of person. Is there anything that you're not afraid of doing? Because I think one day president is in the cards, right?
You know what? With the way, honestly, what's funny is the way that things are going in the United States right now. That's actually not off the table. But more like more local. Honestly, I was like, the politics of everything out here in the United States right now is crazy. But I'm more along the lines of, I want to do something that can help the most people. So I think that something and they have an office. It's called I was looking at it the other day too. It's about basically like a health and fitness council to the president type of thing. And so there's a lot of guys who on there that are pretty decent at what they do. And then there's also a lot of guys who are just like celebrity athletes that probably shouldn't be on there, So things like that, I would like to do. I think that the main thing is like with my past and my history, it's so I guess to give you like a real quick synopsis of it, but I grew up like really, 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 really poor. And, my mom slept on a couch. She didn't even have a room. Me and my sister, it was a bad, we did good. I was fine, but it was not an ideal situation. So when you grow up like that and you're kind of don't have anything, when you get something, it becomes too much. And then when you actually make it and you actually do have too much, then it becomes useless. You just don't have any value in it, right? It's like, to me, it's like, well, it's cool that I make money, but it's like, I would do just as fine if I made $2,000 a month, if I made $100,000 a month. So like when you start doing that, you kind of want to give it back to the community. And so that's where like the prep center kind of came from too, is because the prep center, when it's all done, it's going to cost $1.1 million is about where it's done. And I pay for everything. The building's paid for, the equipment's paid for. I don't do any leases. I don't like that. I don't like working with landlords. I just like having control.
Yeah.
And so, so all of that money that we've made over the last, I would say the last like 8 years or so, I haven't really paid myself much. I just paid myself to like enough, and so I'm just constantly trying to push the envelope and push it to the next level and actually make it like a real professional sports team. But now the main thing is like it's community based now, and it's the problem is I'm really like a rat. I just like go everywhere. It's like everywhere. There's food, go over there. There's food, go over there. And so like I just get distracted, or a squirrel is what I mean. like a squirrel, they go everywhere. So like I'm trying to control that a little more now and not do so much. And so now this year I've really set the goal to be just to improve the community, and that's going to be the reward. I'm not going to do any more products. I'm not going to expand anything. I actually gave up all my products. I didn't give it up, but they are being run by someone else now. So I have it's just in a warehouse, and the Taylor who works, she's one of our coaches. She does our drop shipping, all that. She runs a warehouse with all of our stuff in it. And I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with it. I just want to coach, and I just want to build the community. And I eventually want to build a community too, where it's going to help youth. And at the prep center, where we'd have volunteer coaches to help youth with their getting started in fitness, because it got me off the streets. It changed my life. And so I want to help get the volunteer coaches to help youth and let the youth like work out in the gym for free, and kind of give them a pathway, and hopefully they can be the next big trainer type of thing, or the next big athlete. So that's kind of the focus now, is build the community in Las Vegas. I was a very well-known name in Denver, Colorado, but I mean, that was, big fish, small pond scenario. And then I got to Vegas, and it's like, wow, the opportunity here is huge. And so now I'm trying to create the best like group of coaches that we can in the world. So I brought on Mark Anthony now. He's one of our coaches. He's helping with the men's divisions and posing and whatnot. He's one of our coaches now, which is awesome. He's a really good dude, really good coach. He's been around for a long time. Samantha Jerring just came on to help with figure. She's actually in my house right now. She's staying here. She's and so we have, Frida, Ashley's going to be a coach too. She is a coach now, and we just have we're bringing the level up as the team.
Nice.
And with that lets me train the coaches more, and then that lets me take on less total athletes. And so when I'm taking on less athletes, I can spend that extra time with building the community and making it like the ultimate place to go to. And so it's not going to be, I'm not going to charge people to go to the gym there. There's no membership fees to go there.
Yeah.
It's just go there, get some posing from me, from Ashley, from Mark, whoever, right, Anya, and learn and grow in the sport, because it's done so much for me. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it's not that I would say I'm a philanthropist or anything like that. It's just that you kind of have to give it back when it's done so much for you. And then honestly, like if you're a coach at a higher level, like you shouldn't make the money that you make, you know, it's ridiculous. Like you should, like I would do it for free, you know? And so like us to actually get paid for it is, I better give it back.
I don't think there are many coaches that think like that. I'm sorry. But I think what you do is wonderful if you're going to do, well, you are doing that. So that's quite something.
I think part of it is that too. Part of it is me putting pressure on the other coaches to reach in their pocket and stop being so greedy. And so, and I don't care to say that out loud, but like the reality is like these, and I say it too, like I've built my career off the backs of people working out hard and crushing themselves in the gym. And why shouldn't they reap the benefit of it besides just the coach? It's crazy to me. Yeah? Every professional sports team has athletes that are taken care of besides like a lot of the NPC coaches teams, right? That have big teams that are $1 million teams too. So like it doesn't, you gotta set it up for them too. You know, the athletes got to have that opportunity, not just the coach. They go through them in 5 years and then they're done with their career and they're like, all right, well, thanks. And then they find the new one, you know, that's not my style. So yeah, I want to like mold their career, help them grow, help them be on the team, create the community behind them. Like it's a different way of thinking, I guess. We'll see if it pans out.
I'm pretty sure it will. It's
going to go awesome. So is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you so much for your time, Adam. Like it's so spectacular what you're doing, and you're definitely an asset to the industry. That's for sure.
And I've also.
Well, that's very nice and warm of you.
Thank you. And I definitely feel like
you are. You've got good energy.
Yeah. And we need to get you back for like a catch up or like a party.
I'd love to talk like more about the girls and what you see going forwards and stuff like that. So that would be amazing.
Yes,
I would love to. Yeah. And thank you for wearing the waist trainer. You know, I'm gonna send you. Yes. Oh yes.
You guys, I swear this is an XS, so this is still good.
I'll get you both. I'll get you both filled out with everything I got. Okay.
Thank you so much. And I'm definitely coming to Vegas. I'm sat here thinking, can I fly there right now in lockdown? Like, is Vegas somewhere I can go?
I'll tell you what, we should do like a thing for amateur.
Everyone comes here and go ahead.
We've just made a mental plan to do something, and we'll be there in August? Yes.
Yeah.
August. Okay, we'll have the new prep center has its own podcast room. A nice post room. So you guys could do whatever interviews you want there. Everyone just use it. You know how it is. I got a pretty big house. If you guys need an extra place to stay, I always tell everyone.
That's so kind.
That's why Samantha's staying here right now. Everyone stays here.
Thank you, Coach Adam. That's so awesome.
Of course. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much for your time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. That was such an awesome interview. If you haven't already, make sure you go and follow Adam and Team Elite Physique. And it was superb.
Oh my goodness.
So insightful. He really knows his stuff.
I now know why he calls himself the brain.
The brain. I'm like, if I compete, I want to be prepped by Team Elite Physique.
Just sending a thank you. And yes, I know what you mean. Like that was incredible.
I want to go and get in that in the center. I want to have that 360 scan.
Yeah.
I want to know like what's going on and where.
I'm really curious about that Magic X formula as well. Like I'm just all over the math on this right now. So
cool. So guys, thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. If there's any other coaches that you want us to get on the show, then let us know and we'll try our best to make it happen.
All right, you guys, we'll see you again soon. If you're in the UK, almost lockdown overtime. If not, stay safe and we will see you very soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, you guys, so now we're doing shout outs again, and I'm going to start off with Emma's.
Yeah, so again, I'm going to stick on my coach vibe for these shout outs, and my next shout out is going to be trained by JP, which is obviously the one and only Jordan Peters and Corinne. So JP and Corinne built the most impressive brand and coaching company in the UK. They were, for me, like the leading example of where most prep coaches are now with their business. Like they built an online platform where all of the members get exclusive access to everything you would need to know about competing, whether that is bodybuilding, bikini, whether it is supplements,
nutrition,
everything, nutrition, peds, all of that kind of stuff. So
they also have a learning platform now.
Yes,
for
education.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know because I'm a member.
I've worked with JP and Corinne when I got my pro card. And they're just fantastic. And I know that Corinne now works with Ria Gale, and they seem to have a really amazing work relationship. But yeah, there's just JP and Corinne, you know, they absolutely live for this craft and this this life, and it's just so clear to see. And they just really know their stuff. Like, they're both so well educated. You know, I think Corinne has, she has like a master's, but even more than that as well. But they're just so committed to bodybuilding.
Yeah, they love it.
And they're athletes. Like, if you want to grow, these two are your pair for sure. So they work with a range of athletes, males, females. A lot of the UK bodybuilders.
Jamie the Giant.
Yep, Jamie the Giant has worked with JP. Cuba works with JP. Also, Cuba has his own coaching company as well, but a lot of the athletes, they cross over.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cuba and Meg.
And they're all part of the Train by JP team. So yeah, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to these guys. They do so much for the industry, and they also sponsor the Two Bro shows. And they do so much for the industry. So they definitely deserve the recognition. Yes, for sure.
Definitely well done to Trained by JP, so Corinne and Jordan. Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And then on to the last shout out. I've gone for somebody who's relatively unknown, but I feel like I've seen them pop up quite a lot, and that is this person called Jet Prince. Now, you're probably thinking, why am I pulling up their Instagram? Well, because this person is doing commissions for athletes, and he's creating beautiful pieces at the moment, and he's just started, and he's getting himself out there and known. And, you know, sometimes you need a bit of a chance, or like you need someone there to shout you out as well, and we
just,
can all
give people a bit of a platform.
So he does beautiful like work, and I just think it's you know, it's someone who is using lockdown to better their skill set as well, and who, you know, he does this on the side, so I think that's really cool.
So basically, what does he do? Get creative with your pictures and
yes, so he'll get creative with all of your bodybuilding pictures, your stage shots, anything that you want, and then you can use it for post show or just as a little memory, and then from there you can, I guess you can print it onto posters or use it as part of your business cards or something. So it's all really quite interesting.
Awesome. Yeah. That's so cool.
So that is Jet Prince, and you can follow him at jetprince_ on Instagram.
Perfect.
So you guys, thanks again so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week, and stay safe if you are in lockdown 3.0 in the UK. Hopefully by the time this episode is out, it's over.
Fingers crossed.
Have an amazing time, you guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, share and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.